Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. Global News reports that U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer stated Canada is doubling down on globalization, a stance at odds with the United States trade objectives. Speaking before the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee, Greer highlighted tensions as the July deadline for the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement, CUSMA, review approaches. He emphasized the need for stronger rules of origin to prevent third countries like China from importing subsidized goods tariff-free into North America, noting Mexico has agreed to comply. Greer expressed dissatisfaction with Canada's commitment and criticized Prime Minister Mark Carney's push to diversify trade, especially with China, to reduce reliance on the U.S. He also warned of potential enforcement action regarding provincial bans on U.S. alcohol, citing Canada's actions alongside China as economically retaliatory. Additionally, Greer voiced frustration over Canada's dairy supply management and import limits on U.S. fruits and vegetables, suggesting Canada must address Washington's concerns to improve bilateral trade relations. Global News reports that Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Gull-Masty is the sole cabinet minister whose mandatory conflict of interest disclosure remains unpublished, 7 months after its legal deadline, while all other cabinet members have made their forms public. A report from the Parliamentary Ethics Office indicates they are still awaiting further information or a signature from Gull-Masty. Her office stated she is working with the Commissioner's office to complete the necessary paperwork, but did not provide a reason for the delay. Ian Steadman, a government ethics specialist, emphasized that late disclosures are unacceptable, particularly as this is a long-standing requirement. He called for increased transparency regarding the nature of such delays to maintain public trust in the system. Although the Federal Ethics Commissioner can impose a penalty of less than $500 for late submissions, the office generally waives it if the compliance process is ongoing. Steadman, however, believes stronger enforcement measures are crucial to underscore the seriousness of these delays and prevent cynicism towards elected officials. The declarations, meant to be updated annually, ensure private interests do not interfere with public duties. As of April 22, 2026, 26 other members of Parliament also have outstanding ethics documentation. Radio-Canada International reports that AI-generated content dubbed AI Slop or Baby Slop is proliferating on YouTube and alarming child development experts and advocacy groups. Pediatricians like Dr. Michelle Ponte of the Canadian Pediatric Society describe these videos as garbage that hinders early learning by lacking developmental coherence. The content, often featuring bright visuals and repetitive sounds, can be identified by bizarre character behaviors, illogical actions, and garbled text. Fairplay, an advocacy group, sent a letter to Google, YouTube's parent company, highlighting that AI Slop harms children's development by distorting their sense of reality, overwhelming their learning processes, and hijacking their attention. While YouTube states it has high standards for YouTube Kids and limits AI content there to a small set of high-quality channels, and requires creators on the main platform to disclose realistic AI content, a labeling strategy for YouTube Kids is still in progress. Experts emphasize the need for appropriate regulation, arguing that while a complete ban on AI content might be unrealistic, establishing content standards and quality guidelines is crucial. Some content creators believe AI can be used effectively if prompted with child development principles. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston recently expressed concerns that opponents of fracking are stifling open dialogue during public consultations on new fossil fuel production. Houston conveyed these sentiments via social media, sharing a brief video of a consultation session held at Dalhousie University in Windsor's NS. On Monday evening, the consultations began more than a year after the province lifted a decade-long ban on fracking. Premier Houston emphasized the importance of creating a space where all Nova Scotians can contribute to the conversation, not just the loudest voices. He also suggested that the actions of opponents could impede crucial discussions about job creation, energy production, and environmental considerations. However, Body and Name, an energy coordinator with Halifax's Ecology Action Centre, countered that the protesters represent a significant portion of Nova Scotians who are genuinely worried about the environmental risks associated with fracking. This report is from the Canadian Press. Dylan Marando, a former political staffer, has become the first official entrant in the Ontario Liberals' upcoming leadership race, as reported by CTV News. Marando announced his bid on a newly launched website, outlining his vision to build an Ontario characterized by inclusion, optimism, and opportunity. His political background includes working for two former Liberal premiers, federal cabinet ministers, and former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, followed by a recent role at a global medical technology company. The article notes that other prominent figures, such as Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith, who placed second in the 2023 leadership contest, have strongly hinted at running again. Provincial caucus members Lee Fairclough, Adel Shamji, and Rob Surgenek are also seriously considering bids, alongside housing advocate Eric Lombardi. Ontario Liberal Party members are scheduled to elect their new leader on November 21st. This marks the third leadership contest for the Liberals since 2020, with the winner set to replace Bonnie Crombie, who resigned earlier this year after receiving lukewarm support in a vote at the party's annual general meeting. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.